Hello everybody, my name is Lucky Luxray, and today I am bringing you the second round of playoffs for the NCPL Season 10 of the Pokemon Draft League. This time it's Robin's Rules. This week I'm going up against Jared of the Maple Ridge Entei. He is a very strong competitor. He went 5-2 and made it through the first round of playoffs, so he's got to be strong in some sort of capacity. He made it to the top 8. So, looking at his team, I figured, okay, Megazam can do really good against him. He doesn't really have a switch in to fighting plus psychic coverage in a good way, but I thought Scizor was a big struggle against Free, but I think overall that I can put a lot of offensive pressure on his team to where it wouldn't, like, my offense would overpower his defense. So the first team I brought against him was Substitute HP Fire Megazam with Psychic and I believe Fighting Move or Dazzling Gleam. I think it was Dazzling Gleam. It might not have been Fighting Move because Dazzling Gleam was a good substitute for the fighting coverage. There was a physically defensive Swampert, Specs Oricorio, because I didn't think I would ever get a chance to click Quiver Dance, especially because he has his own Oricorio, and the Dancer ability would allow it to copy the Quiver Dance for free. I didn't really want that to happen, so I just made it Choice Specs to fire off moves in an easy capacity. I have, and this Klefki set is kudos to Flo, because he thought of it and he thought it was really good in this matchup against the Petulant, and it is specially defensive, full on max HP, max special defense with Toxic, Draining Kiss, Calm Mind, and Psychic to just completely wall it pretty much. Even with the Nasty Plot, walls it with the Calm Mind and fire off Psychic to hurt it a lot. And the only move that could hit Klefki is Shadow Ball. I have Covert Cloak, Defensive Slitherwing, because I didn't want to risk any hacks with it. Then I have Life Orb, Sheer Force Tauros, because I love to bring that thing with Fire Blast to hit the Mega Scizor really hard, but you can see in this match that he did not bring Mega Scizor. So let's go ahead and get into this first battle. I lead off with the Swampert because I figured, well, I could just go ahead and get rocks up or flip turn out, and I was like, well, I don't want to stay in versus the Regidrago, so I just flip turn out and he clicks Substitute, and that's a big problem for me already because I don't know what this thing can do. We can set up a Dragon Dance for free now, and that's already going to put in a lot of work. So I just go into my defensive Slitherwing, and I'm like, well, I'm going to click U-turn. But he protects, so he is some sort of sub-protect, maybe toxic Dragon Energy, and Dragon Energy does a lot of damage to me, so I'm like, crap. So this is where I go into my Specs Oricorio. So I have a decision here. Do I let him scout with Protect in the event that I U-turn? Or does he go straight into his Oricorio to eat the Dancer of the Quiver Dance or the Revelation Dance that I go for? In my eyes, I figured, okay, this isn't that strong into his team because Comfey can kind of easily wall it, and I didn't want to be put in a position where Comfey could easily set up on this thing. And I don't think his Oricorio is ever going to click Quiver Dance when I have my own Oricorio. So I figured, okay, I'm just going to get some chip damage off with Revelation Dance, and if he goes into Oricorio, it's okay. I can sack my Oricorio. And he does just that. He goes right into his Oricorio Electric, and he copies the Revelation Dance, and that just strikes my Oricorio and knocks it out, which the crit didn't matter. And I was like, okay, that's actually fine with me. I was okay with this exchange because I can go into Alakazam and just go ahead and click any move to KO this Oricorio. And I figured, okay, I didn't really need to be anywhere. He goes into Donphan, which tells me that he doesn't really have much for Alakazam in the capacity of eating a hit. But I didn't want Alakazam to take any chip damage with Earthquake. If it's banded, I think it died, or knockoff, or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sack my Slitherwing because I didn't need it anymore. What was it gonna switch into to recover HP? There was nothing it was gonna switch into to recover HP, so it was useless on my team. It allowed me to get a free switch into Swampert. I'm like, well, I'm gonna straight go for the flip turn again because I just need to break the sturdy, and I think he's gonna switch out. And this is where I go to Klefki because he brings in Pecharunt. He brings in his Samurott, which is a dark type on a Prankster mod, which makes sense. But I go straight for the Calm Mind because I'm not messing around. He goes for Substitute. I go for Draining Kiss. Good. Great. That's awesome. He goes for Ceaseless Edge. That does 32%. But I'm just going to Draining Kiss and get all of that HP back. So I'm currently winning this exchange. He's getting his spike up. That's okay. I'm getting HP back, and I'm fine with this exchange. So now he has a decision to make. Does he think that I have Magnet Rise? Or does he think that I have nothing to hit Pecharunt? So he goes into Pecharunt, which he should have went into Donphan 100%. But I think he didn't want to break the sturdy for Swampert, or not Swampert, Mega Alakazam, or Tauros for that matter. Keeping the sturdy intact was pivotal to eating a hit from this and then KOing it with an Earthquake plus Ice Shard, which I think is the reason why he went into Pecharunt. But he closed for Nasty Plot, that's fine, because I click Psychic. He has the Payapa Berry, which reduces the psychic damage, but it doesn't really matter because he can't really hit me with Shadow Ball that hard. Even at +2, it doesn't really matter. He had the Payapa Berry to eat up a psychic move from the Alakazam and fire off the Shadow Ball and KO it. But he clicks Shadow Ball and it does 30%. It does nothing to me. I'm like, great, so I can just Psychic and KO this thing immediately. Special Defense drop helped, but it's okay. This is where he goes into Donphan. I'm like, well, I'm not even going to mess around with this. I'm going straight into Swampert again. I don't care. He goes for Earthquake. That does a lot of damage, but I can live 2 of them, which is important. He goes into Comfey as I Stealth Rock because I want to break that sturdy on the Donphan. I'm like, well, I'm going to just click Flip Turn because I don't know if he wants to Giga Drain. He can Giga Drain. Sure, I don't really need this anymore. The sturdy is broken on Donphan. So I Flip Turn and I'm like, well, Klefki doesn't really... or Comfey doesn't really have anything to hit Klefki, so I'm just going to go right into Klefki and start Calm Minding. I haven't revealed my 4th move yet. He probably thinks it's some sort of offensive move, like Flash Cannon. I click Toxic immediately because of the Comfey. I didn't want this to just get free setup in front of me. So I have Toxic for the Comfey, and I Jeez, what the hell was that? Oh, my cat just jumped off my desk. Hey, leave me alone, dude. Where was I at? Okay, Comfey. Oh, he jumped back up. So if you're hearing bumps in the night, or just bumps, it's him. I didn't want the Comfey to get a free setup on any of my Pokemon, so I'm just gonna click Toxic. He goes for the Hidden Power Fire. I assume it's Hidden Power Fire. He's Life Orb. That's fine with me. Great. Toxic, this is on a timer now. I don't have to worry about it. I'm just going to call mine, or I'm going to go for the Draining Kiss to just do damage, get HP back. And I see that Stored Power is his other move. He thought, maybe he thought I was going to go into Swampert to eat up the HP Fire. I don't need Klefki anymore. Maybe it walls the Regidrago, but I don't really need it to wall it anymore because I have Tauros, which is faster, and Mega Alakazam, which is faster. So I'm just getting damage off. I want this gone. I click Calm Mind because I'm like, if he goes for Stored Power again, I can live, but it doesn't matter because Toxic's going to take it out plus Life Orb. So now I'm like, okay, this is free Tauros. I can click Body Slam. I can do whatever I want. It's free. Free Body Slams for me. So I'm just going to spam Body Slam into the substitute of the Regidrago. It does 68%. Dragon Energy doesn't do anything because his HP is really low. I click Body Slam again, get rid of the Regidrago, and from there, Tauros can just Body Slam the Donphan. It was Heavy Duty Boots. So this man ensured that sturdy was intact. He really, really wanted that sturdy to be intact. Thankfully, the Heavy Duty Boots didn't really matter because I was able to get Chip off, and then Mega Alakazam or Swampert can come in and finish this off with whatever move I want to go for. Even with Ice Shard crit, didn't matter. Psychic was always the play, and I'd take game 1. I think I played really well here, he kind of panicked a little bit whenever he saw the Calm Mind on Klefki. He didn't know what the set was, so he wasn't able to properly switch in with the Donphan. And I think he just didn't want to break the sturdy for Mega Alakazam as well. So I see why he was doing the things he was doing, but it worked out for me, so I'm not really going to complain too much. Game 2, I brought the same Alakazam and the same Tauros, but I switched up a couple of the sets on the defensive pivots. My personal favorite set on this team is Nasty Plot, Max Special Attack, Mandibuzz, with Weak Armor to boost the speed if it's hit with a physical move, with Dark Pulse, Hurricane, and HP Fire for the Mega Scizor. Then I have Choice Band Swampert, Specially Defensive Klefki with Spike, Protect, Toxic, Dazzling Gleam, I believe, or it was Flash Cannon. It was one of the two. I think it was Flash Cannon. Then I have Booster Energy, Bulk Up, Slitherwing with Flame Charge to hit the Scizor. And then the other two Pokemon are the same, like I mentioned before. So, immediately, I'm looking at this team and I'm like, okay, Scizor is a problem. But he doesn't really have anything for lead setup Mandibuzz. I wanted to put on the pressure immediately with Mandibuzz. So I lead with Mandibuzz as he leads Donphan. I'm thinking, great, this doesn't really have anything to hit me, so this is free Nasty Plot. Immediately, this was always what I was going to do, clicking Nasty Plot immediately. So I click Nasty Plot as he goes for Toxic. Misses Toxic turn 1. Very, very frustrating for him. I felt bad, but I mean, it was what I was doing this anyway, so free Toxic, or not free Toxic, free Nasty Plot, that's good for me. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna click Dark Pulse, do 82, get rid of this, and he misses Toxic again. So already Mandibuzz has gotten a free kill for whatever it wants. In this case, it's Donphan. Dark Pulse twice. It probably would have let him get up rocks. I don't know what the rest of his set was, so if he would have landed the first Toxic, this would have been at what, 82%? Because of 6 and then 12. Well, Nasty Plot 6, 12, and then it would have been 18 on this turn. So frustrating, but Pokemon is Pokemon. So I'm like, well, I have no reason to not do anything, so I'm just gonna keep Mandibuzz in and Dark Pulse again because I want damage, and I want this because I was thinking, yeah, this is the same Dragon Energy set. I'm just gonna get Chip off on it. He goes for Dragon Dance. Scary. This thing's faster than me now. He goes for Scale Shot. Okay, well, my speed's boosted now. My defense is lowered. He hits one, he hits two. If he hits another one, Mandibuzz is down. And he only gets 2 hits. So then Mandibuzz is now +4 speed, +2 special attack, -2 defense. So if he goes into Scizor, Bullet Punch will almost certainly KO it. But he goes into Hisuian Samurott, and I click Hurricane, and it dies immediately. So Mandibuzz is already claiming bodies. 3 KOs in the first 6 turns for Nasty Plot Mandibuzz. And he goes into Pecharunt, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna click Dark Pulse, and it lives on 5%. Okay, Malignant Chain doesn't even take me out. Malignant Chain does not even take me out. So like at this point in my head, I'm thinking he doesn't even have Bullet Punch on Scizor, because I would have went out to Scizor by now and clicked Bullet Punch because I think it killed. But he gets the confusion, sucks. But I click Dark Pulse again, breaks through, gets rid of the Pecharunt. That's great because I'm sure he would have clicked Recover there. So now I'm here with my Mandibuzz, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna see if I can get an HP Fire off. If I get an HP Fire off, this thing's gone, and all he has is Ninetales, and I still have a Mandibuzz that can click Dark Pulse on the Ninetales. But I hit myself in confusion as he gets a free Sword Stance. Okay, the Hax has been returned. The confusion kind of sucked, but I mean, he missed 2 Toxic, and now this is the position he's in. So he had to hope for that. He had to hope for the confusion hit, because if he didn't get it, then he lost outright. So I can't complain about it. Not complaining about it. this is a good play on him because he needed that Swords Dance. I'm like, okay, well, I still outspeed, but then he reveals the Bullet Punch. I'm like, oh, I would have went out on this earlier, but I don't know if like it KO'd, so I can't really say because I don't know its spread. But I'm like, well, this is scary now. +2 Bullet Punch is just going to kind of run through my team, but I'm able to live one with Tauros and fire off a Fire Blast, and it doesn't kill. Sucks. But now he's really low, and I'm like, okay, well, Slitherwing can live if it doesn't get crit, so I'm just going to try my best. Flame Charge knocks this thing out, and now all he has is Ninetales. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm faster than this. I can just click Earthquake. Earthquake knocks it out. Second game was very, very hacks filled, but I mean, it's the game. Like, I hate when I say that because it kind of feels empty. It's like, well, really, dude, shut up. But Pokemon is the way it is because of the hacks and RNG in it. So it can be frustrating at times. I've been on the other end of this as well. I've been very lucky, and I've also been very unlucky. So with that being said, I won this round of playoffs 2-0, and now I'm in the top 4, which is exciting because, I mean, I went undefeated. Yeah, I was expected to keep going into, you know, further on in the playoffs, but they didn't really know how far I was going to go. Nobody really knew how far anyone was going to go. But to be back and show that, hey, I'm still a top contender. I can still play with the big dogs. And getting the top 4 is really, really good for me because my goal was to just get playoffs in the first place, and getting in top 4 was shattering those goals. So at this point, I'm like, well, I'm gonna keep going and try to win the entire league. But next week, the next week, the second to last, the semifinals of the playoffs, I'm going up against one of the strongest battlers in Calvin. I've battled him on the channel before. I've lost to him. He's lost to me. And in the regular season, he has me like down pat. But in playoffs, I have the advantage over him. So I'm hoping that I can kind of leverage that in my games. But Calvin has won multiple leagues. He is one of the founders of the NCPL, and he, I think, 7, 8, maybe 10 times, I don't know. He has a lot of championships under his belt. So he's a very, very good battler, not to be underestimated, and I've helped him build, and he's helped me build throughout the season. So this is gonna be the real test, the first real test. And not to say that these other guys weren't the real test as it was, but Calvin, if I'm gonna have to win a championship, I have to go through Calvin or someone of the same caliber. It's inevitable. So with that being said, I will see you guys next week in the match with Calvin, but don't forget to like and subscribe because, like I said, I have to say that I guess. But thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.